Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live, here to bring you the weekly roundup of organ live streams, recitals, and concerts. This week, there's a high-quality concert from the Eccles Organ Festival in Salt Lake City, an early music organ and strings concert in Moscow, an organ and soprano aria concert in way out in Siberia, and more. So let's dig in. Remember to like this video on Facebook and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads if that's where you watch us, so you never miss the more than 1,000 live performances online this year, which we're already well on the way to giving you the live links for. So let's dig in right away into all of these live streams we have for you. I want to start out by quickly going through the first four of these live streams. They are the weekly routine live streams that are done on a regular basis from Toronto, from London, from Glasgow, and from San Diego, California, where we never have the program of what they're actually going to play. But we know who's playing, and we know what the organ is like. So let me fill you in on these. It's Jean-Paul Fayot, James Borrie, Andrew Shepard, and my favorite Canon, Martin Green, out in San Diego. The first of these concerts is starting in just about a half an hour's time. It will be at St. James Cathedral, Toronto. It's Jean-Paul Fayot, who's the recently appointed Wayne Vance Organ Scholar at St. James. He's an organist, an early musician, and a singer who started out in life, as I did, a choir boy, and he was at St. Michael's Choir School. I was at St. Raymond's. I was the first soprano. I'm very proud of it. Anyway, the organ is an 87 rank, 67 speaking stop organ with 4 manuals and 6 divisions, 5,101 pipes, entirely rebuilt in 1976 by L.I. Phelps and Associates. If you want to hear an L.I. Phelps and Associates organ and have an idea what it sounds like, there you go. That will be at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 in the morning on the West Coast, and 7 o'clock here in the evening in Europe, which is where I am now. So just about 26 minutes from now, from where I'm sitting. Then we go to Wednesday. We have 2 more live streams on Wednesday. We have, hold on a second, we have one from the Temple Church London at 1 o'clock UK time, which is 2 o'clock in the afternoon East European time, 8 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 5 in the morning on the West Coast for all you Hollywood early risers, and midnight, Wednesday night, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. James Borrie, like the young man we just told you about, Jean-Paul Fayot, is an organ scholar. He's the organ scholar at St. Mark's Church, Regent Park, and we don't know what he's going to be playing. The organ is a Harrison & Harrison limited organ, 4 manual organ with 3 32-feet stops. It has a history. It was originally built for a ballroom up in Scotland in 1927. They brought it down by rail to London in 1953. But before while it was still up there, the inaugural recital of this organ was played by the legendary Marcel Dupré. It had a complete overhaul in 2012 and 13. Harrison & Harrison basically took it apart and refurbished it in their workshop in Durham. Now, 10 minutes after that concert, we finally have a more grown-up, experienced organist. It's Andrew Shepard at 1:10 in the afternoon UK time, 2:10 European time, 8:10 in the morning on the East Coast, 5:10 on the West Coast, and 10 minutes after midnight in Australia. That's at Glasgow University Chapel. Long ago, Mark Shepard read music at Oxford, and he too was an organ scholar as a young man, but at Exeter College. Since then, he made stops at Tewkesbury Abbey, St. Mary's, Warwick, the Lichfield Cathedral. He directed the Schola Cantorum of Oxford for a long time, was a lecturer at the Royal Academy of Music, and currently he's director of music at the Charterhouse. The organ is a Willis organ, but it was built by Henry Willis III in 1927. and most recently refurbished by none other than Harrison and Harrison of Durham in 2005. That leaves us, and again, we don't know what he's playing, but it's free of charge. You have nothing to lose. And finally, then we come down to Friday. Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, West Coast time, Canon Martin Green will be live streaming his recital from St. Paul's Episcopal Church in San Diego. Martin Green is one of the most articulate and engaging organists I know. He always gives you wonderful explanations of the pieces he selected, and he mixes them up between American and European composers and earlier music and more contemporary music. Just a great guy, always lovely programs, but we never know what he's going to be playing. So there are some limitations on what I can tell you about it. And that's that for these 4 weekly recitals. And, of them, the 2 more experienced, of course, are Andrew Shepard and Canon Martin Green. But there's something to be said for ambitious and enthusiastic youth. Some of these recitals, these guys, what did Vachel Lindsay say? He said, "Let not young souls be smothered out before they do quaint deeds and fully flaunt their pride." Exactly. And fully flaunt their pride. And I'm telling you, sometimes these young guys will really fully flaunt their pride and put on terrific performances. Sometimes better than what you can expect from an older guy. Okay. Now, let us move on to some of the more evolved concerts that are going on starting on the weekend. And they're all quite interesting, but they're not purely organ. So let us take a look at the first of these. I always like to put up an image first to go with the announcement. There. Tatiana Andrianova. I got to tell you, Tatiana, if you ever see or hear this, I hope you take this as a compliment. You look like an organist. You're just set up there like, yeah, there's an organist. Okay. She runs this big thing. Now, what we're able to do for you for the first time here, well, first let me do a proper announcement of it, and then I'll get into the details. Sorry to be rubbing my nose, but sometimes I get these weird reactions while I'm live streaming, and it's as if I'm allergic to being seen. Anyway, both early music and organ lovers might enjoy the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow's live stream of organ and early music instruments playing Vivaldi and Bach this Saturday, March 8th at 6 in the evening European time. That's at 8 o'clock Moscow time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast. It's an organ, lute, harpsichord, and strings concert. An ensemble of soloists who call themselves Internotes with Tatiana Andrianova at the organ. I could give you all the names of the string quartet and that, but I'm not sure it would say anything to you. But I can tell you the harpsichord players Olga Matieva and Oleg Boyko is on the lute, if that speaks to you as an early music specialist. They'll be playing some concertos by Vivaldi and some sonatas by Vivaldi. They'll be playing Bach's concerto in D minor, which is after Vivaldi. Then they'll be playing Vivaldi. They'll be concluding with Vivaldi's concerto for violin and cello in B flat major, and the concerto for 2 violins, strings, and continuo in A minor. And last but not least, Spring and Summer from the Four Seasons. So that should be a lovely concert. Now, why do I make a point about Andrianova? Well, Andrianova is no stranger to early music. She was at the Moscow Conservatory for about a decade in the 90s, and not only studied organ and Russian music, but the harpsichord. And she's been working, she's a part of the mainstream in Moscow. She's been the accompanist and organist in the academic choir of the Russian State Music, Television, and Radio Center for 20 years. She's received awards for services to the promotion of Russian culture, etc. She works with the chamber choir of the Moscow Conservatory, with the Moscow State University Chamber Orchestra. So she's very involved with early music. So this will be a very good both organ recital and an early music concert. Now, the thing I want to point out to you is that we finally are able to give you a little information about the organ there, because I usually we give you the specs. We give you a link to the organ specs in the notes that we give you and the links that we give you to find these live streams. And I finally got the organ specs from the Kuhn, Kuhn organ company in Switzerland, which originally built and installed this organ in Basel, Switzerland. I think I have an image for you, at least, of the organ manual. So you can see it's a proper 4-manual organ, and I think also I think I've shown you before the pictures of the pipework of this organ, which if you visit the Kuhn organ website, you'll find out that the pipework looks the same at the Moscow Catholic Cathedral as it did when it was installed in Basel. I'm looking to find my copy of that, and I'm sorry, I cannot find the pipework for you right now. Anyway, that should be a lovely concert, both for organ lovers and for early music lovers. We move on then to, this is another weekly recital, but this is a top-of-the-line weekly recital with this guy that I really like, Thomas Ospital. Resident organist Thomas Ospital will regale us with selections from Mozart, Widor, and Liszt in St. Eustache Church's weekly organ recital live stream this Sunday at the usual 5 p.m. Paris time. That'll be 11 in the morning on the East Coast and 8 o'clock your Sunday morning on the West Coast. St. Eustache Church, this lovely church right in the heart of Paris in the walking distance of Les Halles. When I'm in Paris, which I am usually for a couple months at a time, several times a year, I go there and I do a live stream for you on my phone just before the concert and walk you into it. And then I sometimes do a live stream afterwards. And also, we're putting in our, besides the link that we're giving you to watch this recital, we're giving you the link for a visit that I had with Thomas Ospital a few weeks ago in Paris, where he revealed all the secrets of the church's magnificent Van den Heuvel organ with its 101 stops, 7,958 pipes, and 5 manuals. And he took us up in the loft and showed us places where the general public never gets to visit. And we had really interesting discussions of acoustics and architecture and organs and how all of these factors come together when you're considering what an organ actually sounds like. What is he going to be playing? Well, and besides it, he's also professor of organ at the Paris Conservatory, so he's up there, He'll be playing Mozart's Fantaisie, KV 608. He'll be playing extracts from Widor's Fifth Symphony, and he'll be playing Franz Liszt, a Fantasy and Fugue on Bach, B-A-C-H, because H in German is a musical note. I think it's A. No, it's like B, and it's like B flat or something like that. It's near the B. Anyway, so that should be a great concert. I can always recommend Thomas Ospital on that fantastic organ, which many people think is way better in terms of the sound you get out of it than Notre Dame cathedrals. Okay, we have 2 more organ live streams that I want to tell you about after that one. The next one is a really full-scale organ recital concert. This will be coming from the Eccles Organ Festival. They only do one of these a month. The Eccles Organ Festival continues its high-quality monthly organ recitals on Sunday, March 8th, with John Challenger from Salisbury Cathedral playing music by Alain, Laurent, Wieland, and, of course, Johann Sebastian Bach. Anyway, that's Sunday. Now, the Eccles Organ Festival, it's in Salt Lake City in Utah. So this is at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9 in the evening on the East Coast. 6, yeah. No, 10. I got that time wrong, and it's wrong in the link, so I'll have to fix it all. That'll be 10 in the evening on the East Coast, 7 in the evening on the West Coast, 3 o'clock in the morning in Europe, and 1 in the afternoon on Monday down under in Australia. John Challenger is a British organist and a recording artist, assistant director at Salisbury Cathedral in the UK since 2012. I guess he likes it. He's not, hasn't been gunning to move on and becoming the full director. Before that, he was at St. George's Chapel, Windsor, and for a while, he was an interim music director at St. John's College in Cambridge. He got his fellowship from the Royal College of Organists in 2008. He has 4 critically acclaimed recordings that he's done on the organ of the Salisbury Cathedral, which unfortunately I have not looked up to give you its specs. This is music by Elgar, by César Franck, and in September of last year, he came out with a recording of his own organ arrangement of Gustav Holst's The Planets, which might be worth checking out. Now, it's a long program. This is not one of these half-hour deals in the usual weekly things. He'll be doing Couperin's Offertoire sur les grands jeux, an offertory from the Messe pour les paroisses, for the mass for the parishioners. He'll be doing 3 pieces by Jehan Alain. Jehan Alain was a terrific French organist and composer who died young, died when he was only 29 years old. He was killed. He was on a motorcycle doing a reconnaissance for the French army in Les Bouches. The Germans saw him and they shot him dead. And so he only had about 10 years of activity as an organist and composer from the age of 18 to 28 or 29. And he wrote some fantastic pieces. So the French organ tradition really lost a great guy when he went down. And how I hate warfare. That's all I'll say. They'll do Bach's Vater unser im Himmelreich, Our Father in Heaven. Rachel Lauren's 3 impressions on Kingsfold. Germain Taillefer's Nocturne. Gaston Litez's Allegretto from 24 pieces. And Healy Willan's introduction, Passacaglia and Fugue. That's the organ is a mechanical action, 77-79 rank mechanical action English style organ built by an Irish firm, Kenneth Jones and Associates of Bray, Ireland. 4,066 pipes, and it has a special Gothic case to go with the original woodwork installed with the organ in 1918. And they're very proud of the fact that they have a fanfare trumpet that extends from the front of the gallery. I have some photos I can share with you of, here is the manual. Is it 4 or 5? It's a 4 manual console. And I have another image also of the pipe work, but I do not think it shows the horizontal horns that they're so proud of. No, it's not showing there, but they have them. They wouldn't make that up. So I think that will be a lovely concert to enjoy. I think John Challenger, as a noted recording artist, probably knows what he's doing and will do a lovely job. That leaves us with one more, I think, that I want to tell you about. It's not really this week. It's going to be on next Monday. But since we usually do our weekly organ roundup on Tuesdays, if I don't tell you about it now, it'll be too late when we do our next organ roundup to tell you about it. This is once again, this is a mixed concert, and it's coming out of Russia. Monday, March 10th, the Tomskfil Harmonic offers both organ and opera lovers a live stream with arias, choruses, and marches by Rimsky-Korsakov, Verdi, and Puccini, among others. That will be at 7 o'clock in the evening, Krat time on Monday. Krat means Siberia. 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe, 7 in the morning on the East Coast, and a very early, 4 a.m. on the West Coast. But a lovely Monday evening, 11 o'clock in the evening, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, because they're only 4 hours ahead of Siberia. Anyway, the performers are, as you can see there, there's Dmitry Ushakov on the organ, and Dmitry is the full-time organist of the Tomsk State Philharmonic. He's a Moscow conservatory guy, both as undergrad and graduate. He's been the organist at a number of churches, both in Moscow and in Tomsk in recent years. But he also, from 2013 to 2018, was the artistic director of the Tomsk Philharmonic itself. So he is kind of a heavy hitter when it comes to that Tomsk Philharmonic Orchestra. As for the singer, the lovely soprano whom you see there's in the photo besides him, that's Ekaterina Clemens. And she was also featured in the Valentine's Day live stream, which the Tomsk Philharmonic did, Love Stories on the Organ on Valentine's Day. If you tune into that, then you know who she was. She's from Uzbekistan, got her training at schools in Tomsk, Tomsk College of Music and the Tomsk State Pedagogical Institute. But since 2017, she has been a soloist on the staff of the Tomsk Regional State Philharmonic. The program includes, what are the arias? She'll be singing a Vivaldi aria from the motet In Furore Justissimi Irae, which I think in the fury of righteous anger, I think is what that means. Cherubini's Ave Maria. She'll be doing the aria of Snegorochka from Rimsky-Korsakov's opera Snegorochka. She'll be doing Puccini's aria of Loretta. And in between, the organist, for you organ lovers there, will be doing a Bach Vivaldi Concerto in A minor, part 1. A wedding chorus from Rimsky-Korsakov's The Legend of the Invisible City of Kitez, transcribed for organ, of course. And the Grand March from Verdi's Aida, also transcribed for organ. It's an interesting concert in that it is only for broadcast. It's not for an in-person audience. And there may well be discussion in between pieces. You may find that that Ushakov will engage in dialogue and maybe even discussions with the soprano as they're going along, because the title of this concert is called Talk to the Soprano. So maybe he will talk to the soprano. I'd be happy to talk to her if she ever wants somebody else to talk to besides Ushakov. So that's what we have for you for this week, folks. I'm sorry, I just embarrassed myself. But she looks lovely in her voice. I've heard some of her voice. Like I said, she was part of the Valentine's concert live stream a few weeks ago, and it's a lovely voice. So I want to remind you once again, before I leave you, if you're watching this on Facebook, click on like the video and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads if that is where you watch us. And you will then never miss the more than 1,000 live performances coming your way online this year. We will, every week, we will get you the live links to all of them. I hope that one, more, or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, shows you a good time, or proves of particular interest to you as either an early music specialist, and an opera lover, or as an organ specialist. And once again, in the description, we give you the specs to each of these organs we're talking about. So you can really, if you don't know about organs, you can learn about them just by looking up all those specs and then listening to the music and seeing what it tells you about the organ. So ciao for now. I will be back again and again this week. We still have a weekly roundup to do for live streams of big stage productions, orchestras, and one to do for chamber music. But we had a technical difficulty that kept us from live streaming at all yesterday, so we're a little bit behind in our scheduling. Ciao for now, and thanks for tuning in. Those of you who are tuning in, I can see that some of you are out there. Say hello. Leave us a comment. If I say anything wrong, please correct me. Many of you will know more about music than I do.